So
Great.
this is our situation edition. I'm so honored to be here with Dr. Marti Glenn. Marti is a doctor of psychology. She's also the director of the Risio Institute in Santa Barbara, California. She is a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so excited to hear her perspective and to be able to share her advice with all of you. Marti's passions are obviously neuroscience and how the brain works, how our nervous system works. And now more than ever, I feel, do we need to understand on, a scientific level what's happening to our bodies so we can empower ourselves to do something about it when we need the tools. Because I'm sure Marti will say this too, we do always have the power to do something about how we're feeling. So let's start there. Marti, so nice to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to see you. And I so appreciate your work, particularly needed right now for
Yes,
our people
sure.
that are at home and those that are out working, very, very stressful time.
Yes, very stressful. I get stressed going, we were talking about this before, I get stressed going to the grocery store. I'm not actually really going too much either, but even trying to think about how I'm going to get my groceries has, such a simple thing that we took for granted has become something that evokes stress.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes, simple things that we used to have our routines and, we go to work or we have things with the kids or whatever they are, and they're pretty set. And now everything is up in the air.
Mhm.
And it's a tough time for many, many people. So it's time for us to take a look at, okay, how do we handle this? This is not going to go away tomorrow. It will eventually go away and we'll be right back to normal, but hopefully it'll be a new normal because we will have learned some things
Mhm.
and been able to grow in some ways. But it's been difficult in some ways. I'm doing a lot online now.
Mhm.
And like we were talking earlier, when I'm talking to someone, I want to be near them.
Yeah,
I want to have that's right. I want to have eye contact. And part of my family is in France. My son and his family are in France. And, you know, uh, we were supposed to be on a plane today to go to France, and that's not happening. And my daughter is in town here, and that's wonderful. And we don't get to see them. We don't have the contact that we're used to having. So we're trying to find, and we are finding many, many ways. Some of them very fun. Our 12-year-old granddaughter had a dance party for cousins in 4 different countries.
oh, wow.
And it was wonderful. And her local friends, and they were dancing
Was
and
it on
having,
Zoom? Was it a Zoom thing?
yes,
Okay.
Zoom dance party.
Yeah, love it.
And we've had tea and dinner parties with friends and all of that. And we can certainly get into the why that's important.
Yeah.
But I think we all have to find some different ways now to do what we've always done and what we need to do. We just have to do it a little differently now.
Yeah. Could you start by educating us on what actually all of this change and grief and fear, what it's doing on a neuroscientific level to our brains, and then as a result to our emotions and how we feel?
Yes. I'd like to back way up and talk about, the fact that as human beings, we don't have just 2 branches to our nervous system. We were taught that we have 2 branches, fight, flight, or freeze. And Dr. Stephen Porges at the University of Illinois and now at the University of North Carolina has discovered, no, as human beings, we have 3 branches to our nervous system. We do have the fight, flight, and freeze. We do have, but what we need is human connection. It's the social relationship. And we use that first to help calm ourselves. When something happens and we get kind of scared, we look for human connection. And that human connection involves eye contact, looking at the facial expressions. It has to do with looking at the nonverbal cues. I mean, if someone is looking like this, they don't look very safe or inviting, but if they're like this, we read that and we kind of judge that. And actually, our, our nervous system, it's like our heart tells our brain what to do. It's not just I'm thinking, but the nervous system, the gut brain and the heart brain actually let us know, am I safe or not? So as we are born, develop, we develop this social engagement system depending on how available our caregivers are, our parents. And as we grow, we can't regulate our own nervous system until we're, between 5 and 7 years old. We need a caring, loving other to help us regulate our nervous system. And even as we get older and become adults, we still, our first go-to place is another human being. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. I want to know that I'm okay, that right now I want to know that I'm not crazy, and just to say, yeah, oh yeah, this is hard. Mm-hmm. This is really hard. So there are a lot of things we can do on our own to help settle the nervous system. And our first go-to is with other human beings. And that's kind of hard right now because it's harder to make that contact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, when we are in fear or high emotion and we need that human contact to calm our nervous system down currently, what does that make us more, and if we don't have it, what does that then make our brains more susceptible to? Like, I'd love for you to illuminate, what the fear does to our brains so we can be aware of it and then understand that it's our choice to do something, like even something as simple as breathing, to ground it out, because if we don't, also, what's the detriment to our health?
Right.
Really, the main thing that's riding this, would you not agree? This whole situation?
Yes, absolutely. So we have to, first of all, we created an awareness of, wait a minute, I'm kind of going off here. And as we do that, we create an awareness that something's not right. And I don't want to go out of what some of the researchers have called window of tolerance. We like to call it window of presence, where I'm present here. And if I can't regulate with someone, and I'm needing to regulate by myself, if I'm not able to do that, it's very expensive to the nervous system, to the gut. We can't digest our food if we're out of our window, if we're too stressed out. The stress creates a lot of tension in our bodies. It can, as you well know, it can elevate our blood pressure. We're not thinking clearly. So the thinking brain kind of goes offline, and we don't make the best decisions. We don't make the best decisions about our food or about what we need to do to protect ourselves, or our best decisions about our relationships. And so we're not thinking straight when we're scared. And that stress creates often a feeling of, what am I going to do? I don't know, and we're under a tremendous amount of stress right now, not only about being ill, but about losing our jobs or friends, our family members. The way of life as we've known it may be shifting. Yeah. And any kind of change brings up what Dr. Stephen Porges calls neuroception. Neuroception, meaning there's a part of our brain and nervous system that's always on alert. Am I safe? Is this okay? Am I going to be all right? Always looking. And if we're able to calm ourselves, then it goes, okay, I got this one. It's all right. But if we're not, and we just keep revving and revving and revving, then our nervous system takes over. That nervous part, that nervous energy takes over. And as I say, we don't digest our food, our blood pressure goes up, a lot of physical things happen. And then we're not able to have the relationships that we need to help us calm ourselves. So it's almost like this crazy cycle that we go through. And that's why it's really helpful to ask ourselves some important questions and to learn a few really simple tips that will help us come back within our window of presence.
Okay, brilliant. I'd love to hear that. I have one question about what you've said. It's so interesting. What was the name of the doctor that you referred to?
Dr. Stephen Porges.
Stephen Porges. Was he able to identify the part of the brain that is always in high alert? You know
Well,
what that is?
it's not necessarily in the brain, but it's in the nervous system. I mean, the amygdala is a part of the brain that's certainly on high alert.
Yeah.
And when they study the brains of people who have been under tremendous stress in their lives, their amygdala is larger. That part of the brain that's kind of back here in the middle is larger. And the prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain, isn't quite as large, because this is the executive function. This is the part that makes good decisions, that helps us know, okay, I got this, we're going to move forward now. So it's really important that we take care of and learn to calm our nervous system.
Yes, that is so key here, guys. Truly, in life in general, I think there's a lot of people that I work with, and I'm sure you too, that need to learn how to relate to that amygdala, that stressed out brain, that part of them that feels, incapable and anxious and fearful and not enough and all those things. We need to learn how to relate to that and calm it down in real life, but even more so now, because there's so much more triggers for it, is what I'm hearing. And if we don't, from what I heard you say, if we don't learn those tools, then we really put ourselves at risk for health issues, physical, mental, and otherwise, correct?
That's right. Not only our personal, but our relational. We need to be cool, calm, and connected in our relationships so that we can support each other. We don't want to miss that.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that I'm hearing and can even relate to myself through this quarantine situation, is the lack of space, and all of us, together all the time. And because of the fear, there's a lot more fighting. People's marriages are really being tested. There's a lot more yelling at children. We're all sort of more in that zone. And the more we practice these tools, probably, we're not going to be perfect by any means, but we can have more access to a calmer connection with our loved ones. So it's just pertinent for everything.
It's true. It's very true.
So let's get into some of those tools. Sorry, unless you're to say something.
Well, the whole thing about everything has changed. I don't have the space I used to have. The kids are home. And usually one or both partners are home, and that's the good news and the bad news. And one of the things that is really helpful for us to do, first of all, is to take a breath. If I want to move faster, I need to slow down. So to take a breath, and then notice my thoughts. If my thoughts are futuring, that's not serving me. That doesn't mean I don't ever need to think about the future and plan. But if my thoughts are mostly in the future, then I can rev. But if I can say, wait a minute, today we're going to do this. Today I'm okay. I know I need to plan for that, but right now I'm okay. And trying to stay in the present moment. So number one is that awareness piece. What am I thinking? And if my thoughts are not serving me, let's take a breath and come back and say, right now, I'm okay. In fact, there's one practice that comes out of the Heart Math Institute in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it's called ABC. A, aware, meaning I'm aware, I could use some calming down right now. B, put your hand like this, the middle of your hand right on the middle of your chest. And then take a breath with a long exhale. That's B, breathe. Aware, breathe. And C could stand for a lot of different things. I like to say one of them is connect. Aware, breathe, connect. Right now, I'm okay. Or notice who would wish you well right now. You might imagine somebody who loves you just right there with you. Aware, breathe, connect. It takes 10 seconds. And when the heart can slow down even slightly, as I said, the heart tells the mind, I got this one, it's okay. And then I can come back. I mean, we even have little kids go, Mama, ABC, ABC, Mama. You know, the kids can remind us that we need to do it. We need to do an ABC.
And I loved what you said about if I'm futuring, I think you even said that, if I'm future thinking, it's not serving me. And, you know, I read a quote. Do you know Pema Chodron? Have you heard of
it? Oh, yes.
Okay. So Pema Chodron was like my first ever spiritual teacher when I was 20 years old, like one of the first books I ever found. I went and saw her once at the Omega Institute and did a 3-year retreat with her. I love her. And I kind of forgot about her. But through this situation, I remembered that she has a book called Comfortable with Uncertainty.
Yes.
A perfect book for this time. And I was doing a live yesterday to support people, and I read a quote from it that says, "A warrior accepts that we never know what is going to happen to us next."
That's right.
And I just love that.
Right.
Right.
We don't know. We do not know. And if we can be comfortable with a little bit of uncertainty to go, I'm on a path. I have everything I need right now. And look at what I'm grateful for. I mean, I have a roof over my head. I have a wonderful kitchen. I have everything I need right now. I may not have everything I want. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And right now, I'm okay. Right now, I'm grateful that I'm at home. I'm in my own home. I have family. I have friends. You know, I'm very grateful. My needs are being met. The gratitude also helps our nervous system to calm. When we can be grateful, grateful for anything, my cup of warm tea, whatever we're grateful for. So showing gratitude is another one. Okay. That's very, very helpful.
Amazing. So being aware that we're in that place, knowing that for our health in general and our relationships and our whole life, we must do something about it. We can't let ourselves spin. The easiest thing we can do is breathe, ground ourselves into that more, logical part of our brains where we know we're okay, and then reinforce that to ourselves, perhaps bring in some gratitude and just center ourselves into that place.
That's right. And I want to mention, because a lot of people have, you do, and a lot of us have children at home.
Yeah.
And just to mention that the children are picking up our anxiety. They're picking up things from the news and from everything that's on social media. The heightened fear is huge. And they don't really have the capacity to regulate their nervous system, maybe even like they used to. And so they need us more than ever to regulate our own nervous system, slow down, and to have eye contact with them as much as possible, as much as appropriate. Touch them. Do things like brush their hair or massage their feet, or depending on the age of the child, snuggle with them. As much touch as possible, because that helps us, that helps the nervous system to settle. And the other thing I want to say that's very important is that as parents, we do not have to be perfect. We do not have to get it right. In fact, it's good when we don't get it right, right? Because then children see, oh, I don't have to always be right either. And when we don't get it right, we come back and apologize, or we say, oh, wait a minute. I mean, I remember I would kind of, when my kids were little, I would start to go on, all right, you guys, I told you it was time to clean up here. And I would go, wait a minute, guys. You know what? I think Monster Mom just came in. You need to give me a minute. I'm going to take her outside and I'm going to tell her she's going to have to really monitor her attitude a little bit because I don't like how she's treating you. And we would all laugh. I would walk out, go get a drink of water, and come back, you know. And so some of the time, saying things in a humorous way.
Yeah.
Or I would go in the bathroom and I would go, you know, it looks like Wally the Walrus has been in the bathroom. Does anybody know? Did you guys see him? I don't know where he went, but does it look to you like Wally the Walrus has been in the bathroom? I think he has. I think, you know, I'm going to go out, and if you guys see him, let me know, okay? And they knew. They left their towels on the floor. The bathroom was a mess, and I didn't have to say, one more time, you guys, blah, 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 blah. You know, this is not the time for that. We have years left to do the teaching and to bring in the moral lessons and all of that. Right now, we have to ask ourselves, what is the one most important thing here?
Our presence? Is it our presence for our kids?
Well, our presence for our kids is definitely the most important thing. But in this interchange, whether I'm having an interchange with my partner or with people at work that are also at home or with, you know, a relative on Skype or whatever, the most important thing here is usually the relationship. And we ask ourselves, is it really important that I'm right? Is it important that they behave the way I want them to right now? Is it important that I get my way? Probably that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is usually the relationship, being seen and heard and understood and having that human contact. And so when I get in that place, it's really helpful to take a breath, back up, and go, oh, guys, you know, this is so hard. We're in a really hard time right now. And that's the other thing, to have a conversation as a family. Come to the table and everybody talks about, what am I needing right now? And you might be able to say, you know what? I find I need some time alone every day. Anybody else here need some alone time? You know, and see what the needs are. Some of us are internal processors, meaning my husband is an internal processor, meaning he has to think about what he's saying before he says it, not me. I'm out there and I don't know what I have to say until I've, you know, what I think about something until I've heard what I have to say about it. And so when we can have compassion for each other and look around the table and go, okay, you need more alone time than I do. I want to honor that. What else are we needing here? Some of us need alone time. Some of us need some other kinds of time. And kind of really having some agreements and say, guys, it's hard right now. Really talk about what's happening. It's hard right now. And you know what? We don't know when it's going to end, but it will end. And when it does, we're going to have learned a lot. We're going to learn a lot. And in the meantime, we're going to love each other a whole bunch. And they're going to calm down because their needs are met. And so to have those kind of conversations where you feel heard and they feel heard and understood, and like they're not just performing, you know, because they're scared too.
Yeah. You know, my son, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and my 3-year-old gets it. Like, he understands there's this thing called the coronavirus and we're not allowed to see his friends. He's not going to school. Like, he understands that to a point. And the other day he said, is coronavirus still happening? And I said, yes. And he did start crying, and he's only 3, right? But beyond that, I don't think he understands. My 6-year-old really gets it. And the longer it goes on, the more sad he gets too. And, you know, even this morning he came to me and said, you know, Mommy, I've really had enough. Like, the first 3 weeks were fun and it was cool to be home with you and, you know, homeschooling and whatever. He's like, but now I just am sad and I miss my friends. And it just broke my heart. And, you know, do you have any advice for those moments?
Wow, those are such important moments. Number one, he came and talked to you. I
Yeah.
mean, that's huge, right? And for you to say, oh, sweetheart, yeah, come here. This is so hard. It's really hard. I mean, and you name what's happening. You don't try to solve the problem. They don't want you to solve the problem. They want you to be with them. It's like, I want to know that you get how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And so if you just name that and say, wow, it's been 3 weeks and you haven't seen your friends. We're not even having your favorite pizza anymore. You're not getting to go play ball like you used to. This is really hard. And really, then what will happen almost every time, once they feel heard, they'll go, yeah, but you know what? I can play ball out in the backyard. They'll come up with some solutions themselves. And they'll say, well, could I have an extra peanut butter cookie, or whatever? But you solve the problem together. But the main thing for all of us is do not teach, do not solve the problem. Do not say, oh, honey, it's only been 3 weeks. I know it's hard, but we're going to get through it. No, you describe in detail what you imagine they're feeling. You slow down, lower your tone of voice, have some eye contact, touch them if possible, and just right there with them. Yeah, man, none of us ever thought this would ever happen. I couldn't have imagined it. I have no idea how long it's going to last. I know. This is really hard. Yeah. And then as soon as they'll pipe in with something, and then you're off and running again. And then you just reflect that, yeah, and I don't even get to see Susie anymore. And say, oh, honey, she was your best friend. She is your best friend. Yeah, that is so hard. Instead of jumping in and saying, well, you had a Skype time with her yesterday,
I love that. And I think so many parents need to hear that in general, not like separate from the situation and in the situation,
right.
is that our kids, actually, I loved when you said this, Marti, our kids don't even need or want to be fixed. Our kids just want to be seen and heard. Oh my God. That takes the pressure off parenting in such a brilliant way. And B, if more parents can hear that and actually start practicing it, and it's hard because I'm someone that knows that. I've learned that. I've spent time with you. That's probably why my kids come to me more, with their emotions. But still, my automatic amygdala goes to fix, 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 right? And I have to really, do the work to stay present. But that's just such an important message, people. And if you're watching this and you're a parent, if you could try to practice during this time to just be with your kids and their emotions, not fix them through this hard time when emotions are so much more palpable and strong and deep. If you could practice this now, my God, right? How you could build this skill, and what you'd be giving to your children by not fixing their pain. So just thank you for that, Jewel. I think that's just, that in and of itself is just so important for people to hear.
It's true. And it's also true for our partners, our friends, our family, anybody going through something. They don't want to be fixed.
Yeah.
They don't want you to say, it's okay. It's going to be, it's only going to last a while. You don't need to fix it. Yeah. They have come to you because they want to be heard. They want to be seen. They want to know that who I am is okay. And one of the things that my son does when one of his kids are 6 and 9, and the little girls, and when they begin to go off the rails, he'll say, you know what? I think we need some eye time. He calls it eye time. And they go sit on the couch and they have eye time.
Oh, like eye.
They have eye, not I, but eye time. I mean, it's eye time. Because they need to be seen and heard, and they need to know nobody is in the whole world right now but me and you. And it's just us. And I don't have to do anything. I don't have to perform. I can just be here with you. And then pretty soon, they're fine. Yeah. Another thing that's really helpful, not only to listen, but to honor their feelings. If they're angry, give them a place to put that anger. And give them, blank paper and crayons are the best. Let's draw how you're feeling. And they'll just, they don't need to interpret it. It's not a piece of art that they produced. They're just getting it out. Yeah. And helping them to do things like, particularly little ones, like the 3-year-old, to, I'm just mad, and just show me how mad you are. And you can push hands like this, or show me, and and squeeze their fingers. Let them squeeze your, oh, I see, you're just so mad, really mad. And with the older ones, we stomp around or throw pillows. You have to be careful what we're throwing, but pushing and, letting them get it out, not just, there, you're going to be okay. No, it's all right. It's all right. That anger needs a place to go. And so stomping it out. In fact, sometimes we used to have masking tape, and whatever you're mad about, write it on the masking tape, stick it on the bottom of your shoe, and just stomp.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that great? So, and it makes it, you're not making fun of it. You're expressing, you're encouraging them, and you're saying, your feelings are valid. It's okay to have them. We know that a feeling fully felt dissipates.
Wow, I love that.
I don't have to fix it. If I can totally feel it, and I get that you get how hard it is, yes. Done. All done.
Yeah. I love that. A feeling fully felt dissipates, and we have to encourage ourselves to find that time.
That's right.
And we have to encourage our loved ones for sure through this situation to find that time, because there are so many more heavy emotions to process than in normal, regular life. I have 2 more questions for you, Marti, if that's okay. So I have a question. Can you illuminate how to balance the gratitude and the very real pain that we are experiencing? Like, I think that's such a fine balance between, like, I'm suffering, and how you said, let the person suffer, but also, like, don't go into, it could be way worse. Like, whenever I tell my mom that I'm having a hard time, she'll say to me, well, at least you didn't have to go through the Holocaust. And I'm like, really? Like, that's not helpful for me right now. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful that I have a home. I'm grateful I have food. Like, I really am someone who practices gratitude for all that. But how can we balance the gratitude and the pain without one knocking the other out? Do you understand?
I do, totally.
Okay.
For me, one of the marks of what I would call emotional and spiritual maturity is being able to hold 2 equal and opposite things at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel grateful that I have this. I have this and this and this. I'm really grateful. And this sucks. This time is horrible. I don't like it. And it just ticks me off, Both are true. And I can take a breath and I can hold both of these 2 things, because in our culture, it's almost like one negates the other. Mm-hmm. How can you be grateful if you've got all this going on over here? Or if you have all this going on over here, how in the world, So we want to be able to hold both. Both are true. I love you. And what's also true is I need to make this hard decision right now, whatever that is, But being able to hold 2 equal and opposite things is good. Mm-hmm. One does not need to negate the other.
I love that. I think that's so important for people also to understand right now. You can feel grateful and you can be in your pain. Yes. You can, be grateful that you have a house and food and a job if you even have one. And you can also feel sad and grieving for what's going on, and learning how to be in both emotions, at all times.
That's right. That's exactly.
So my final question for you, Marti, is what is the biggest lesson you've learned so far through this?
Oh, wow. The biggest lesson I would say is for me to slow down. I tend to move really fast, and to find ways to connect. really, really has been important for me. I'm on Zoom every day and find ways to slow down and let people know that I love them. I've been saying that more because it's like, I don't have to be proper and hold back. I care about you. You're important to me. And to say those things. And then guess what? I feel good and they feel good too, you know? So learning ways to reach out and be with people when I can't be with them physically right now.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Feeds me.
Where can people find out more about you if they want to learn more about you and the Risio Institute and any resources? Where can they learn that?
Thank you. Thank you. We're at Risio. It's like we're rising together. Risio.com, Ryzio. I had to, when we first did it, I had to figure out how to spell it. So I, Ryzio. It's ryzio.com. And there's a whole list of resources there. There's a blog post, and just go to resources, and there's a lot of articles and, videos and things like that.
Beautiful. And when I put this out, we'll put a lot of resources in there as well, including the YouTube 5-minute vagus nerve video.
Yes.
I think that also could be so useful for people who are really struggling with balancing out the nervous system, maybe with breath alone, because I think there probably are a lot right now. If you're finding that you really can't calm down, learning how this process that Marti developed for the vagus nerve is a brilliant, brilliant way. And it really does work beyond just, taking a few deep breaths. So I'll share all of those resources with all of you. So Marti, I'm honored that you were able to give us this time. I learned so much. Sitting with you always gives me so much. I understand all the knowledge, but then when you really sit with someone where there's no words to even express what happens when we become present.
Yes.
That's really what we want.
That's right.
Are you with me on that? Do you know what I mean when I say that?
100%. Thank you so much.
Okay. Love you so much.
I love you, sweetheart.
Talk soon. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.